The Ted Bundy Murders. America's most infamous serial killer. Ted Bundy is one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. Between 1974 and 1978, he kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered at least 30 young women, though the actual number of victims may be much higher. Unlike the typical image of a killer, Bundy was handsome, charming, and highly intelligent, which allowed him to lure victims without suspicion. His crimes were brutal. He kidnapped, raped, and murdered women across multiple states, often using deception to gain their trust. Even after his escape from prison, he continued his killing spree until his final capture in 1978. On January 24, 1989, he was executed in the electric chair, but his terrifying legacy still haunts true crime enthusiasts today. Early life and psychological profile. Spiral calendar. Born November 24, 1946, Round Pushpin, hometown, Burlington, Vermont. School education, University of Washington. Ted Bundy had a troubled childhood. Raised by his grandparents under the belief that his mother was actually his sister, Bundy struggled with identity issues. He was intelligent and ambitious, but he also showed early signs of psychopathy. He enjoyed manipulating people, lacked empathy, and had an obsession with violent pornography. In the late 1960s, Bundy's charming personality helped him earn the trust of those around him. However, by 1974, he had begun his double life as a sadistic murderer. The Murders, A Trail of Terror, 1974 to 1978. Bundy's killing spree spread across 7 states: Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Florida, and California. His method was terrifyingly effective. He would fake an injury, pretend to need help, or pose as an authority figure to lure women to his car. Once inside, they were helpless. Kitchen knife. The first wave of killings, 1974 to 1975. Round Pushpin, Washington, and Oregon. Bundy's first known victims disappeared from college campuses. Young women in their late teens and early 20s vanished without a trace. January 1974, Bundy's first known attack was on Karen Sparks, whom he brutally beat, though she survived. February 1974, Linda and Healy, a 21-year-old student, was abducted from her apartment. Summer 1974, 2 women disappeared on the same day from Lake Sammamish State Park: Janice Ott and Denise Naslund. Witnesses described a man named Ted with his arm in a sling, tricking women into helping him. Magnifying glass tilted left, these disappearances led investigators to suspect a serial killer was operating in the area. Drop of blood moving to other states, 1975 to 1977. Bundy relocated multiple times, leaving a trail of bodies across the country. Round Pushpin, Utah, and Colorado. Disguising himself as a police officer, Bundy abducted Debbie Kent, Melissa Smith, and Karen Campbell. Round Pushpin, Idaho, and California. More women went missing, some of their remains later discovered in remote areas. Bundy became so confident in his abilities that he returned to crime scenes to visit and violate his victims' corpses. Capture, escape, and more killings, 1975 to 1978. Link first arrest, 1975. Bundy was arrested in Utah for suspicious activity. A search of his car revealed handcuffs, a ski mask, and burglary tools, a serial killer's toolkit. Classical building trial and escape, 1977. While awaiting trial in Colorado, Bundy escaped from prison twice. The first time, he jumped out of a courthouse window. The second time, he squeezed through a hole in the ceiling and fled to Florida. Fire Florida Murders, 1978. Now, the fugitive, Bundy carried out one of the most brutal attacks of his life. Round Pushpin Chi Omega Sorority House, Florida State University. Bundy broke into the dormitory and attacked 4 women in 15 minutes. 2 victims, Lisa Levy and Margaret Bowman, were killed. 2 others, Karen Chandler and Kathy Kleiner, survived with serious injuries. Stop sign. Final victim, February 9th, 1978. Bundy kidnapped and killed 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, his youngest victim. Final arrest and execution, 1978 to 1989. Oncoming police car caught again, February 15th, 1978. Bundy was arrested in Pensacola, Florida, after a routine traffic stop. Balance scale trial and death sentence. 1979 to 1989, Bundy acted as his own lawyer, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. In 1980, he was sentenced to death in the electric chair. He spent 9 years on death row, during which he confessed to at least 30 murders. High voltage execution, January 24th, 1989. Bundy was executed at Florida State Prison. Crowds gathered outside, cheering as he was put to death. Why was Ted Bundy so terrifying? Performing arts deceptively charming. He didn't look like a killer, which made him more dangerous. Brain highly intelligent. He studied law and knew how to manipulate the legal system. Kitchen knife brutally violent. His attacks were sadistic and often involved beatings, strangulation, and necrophilia. Drop of blood enjoyed the killings. He admitted that he felt no remorse and described his murders in chilling detail. Legacy. A serial killer who still haunts us television movies and documentaries. Bundy's crimes have been featured in multiple films, including Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. 2019, starring Zac Efron. Books, psychological studies. His case remains one of the most analyzed in criminal psychology. Bundy's terrifying ability to blend into society while committing unspeakable acts of violence makes him one of the most infamous serial killers of all time.